and gentlemen, let's go. Gaming, tech, culture. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. You're listening to the Cool Black Nerd Podcast, presented by Say What Radio.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Cool Black Nerd Podcast. This is episode number 34, Selenium. I'm your host, Jules, and I'm here with everybody's favorite co-host, Justice. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome. You know what? I just realized we are doing this on the 4th.
Oh, it is July 4th.
It is for us. We're recording this on the 4th. Yeah.
I can dig it. Yep. Happy Independence Day, everybody.
Yeah, for those of you who celebrate, happy Independence Day. For those of you who do not, go get your hot dog. Have a good day.
It's July 4th.
Yep. How have you been? It's been a while.
It has been. I've been pretty good. I've just been playing Diablo, though. That's it. That's what it is. Diablo came out, and I can't do anything else.
It got everybody. Been hearing good things about it, though.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty fun game. I don't know if have you played any of the other Diablo games?
I attempted to play one of, I think it was Diablo 2,
Okay.
way back in the day. And I was not very good at, because I didn't, really wasn't understanding of what I was supposed to be doing or how I was supposed to be doing. So I didn't continue on with it.
Gotcha. Okay, well, full disclosure, the only other Diablo game I've ever actually played was Diablo 3. And it was just a game that I'll give you that. When I first started playing it, I didn't really understand what was going on. It's definitely a game like a true RPG where you have builds and you base your build around your gear that you get, and you're always trying to get better gear so you can have better builds and do more difficult content they've even at Diablo 3 and even now Diablo 4 seems like they've done a pretty good job of making it so that the content always kind of scales to how powerful you can make your character. And I'm not sure that there's really ever a stop to it. So you're just always trying to get better and better gear and improve your builds so you can, kind of get through the levels faster and faster, right? It's definitely, I would say if there are people who have played Diablo 3, or even I've been seeing a lot of people saying like they skipped Diablo 3 and went from Diablo 2 to 4, seems to be pretty enjoyable for everybody. It is a little bit different than Diablo 3. This was definitely more of a live service feel.
I think everybody's going that route, no matter what. Like every game is just live service. And
Yeah,
for
probably
those of you guys who don't really know what that means, what I'm saying by live services, like back in the day, if you were playing like Street Fighter 2 or Super Mario Brothers, like you inserted the cartridge, you started up the game, and you were playing the game from that system just like that. Now, most of the games that are out there, you have to connect to the internet, and then you are playing with other people throughout the world, so to speak. And it is updating and pretty much generating content on a consistent basis. Whereas that Street Fighter 2 or the Mario game, whatever was on that disc or that cartridge, that was it. Unless you bought the next
that was all
game.
you got. Yep.
Yeah.
This one's definitely got that going on. Like, you can see other players running around as you're doing stuff. People can kind of come in and out. And if you happen to be on a particularly challenging fight or like an event going on the map, other people, if they're there, they can come help you out if they want to. Or they can just keep running past you and not be helpful, like the evil people that they are. It's definitely been pretty fun so far. I'm enjoying it. They have recently announced that they're going to do a seasonal model. I think first season starts in a couple of weeks. So, what comes along with that? Obviously, there's going to be microtransactions and all of that. And, seasons are probably not going to be free. Although I think this first one is. I would doubt that the other ones are. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, so let me ask you this. As far as like the story and things of like that when it comes to Diablo, this is definitely not a game for younger people. You would say 18 and up, right?
Generally, I would say, you definitely want to have, older kids, at least. Maybe not adults only. Like, it's not crazy like that. Like, it's nothing, X-rated or anything going on. But it's definitely a, battle of heaven and hell type of deal. And it is just so everybody's clear, it's outside of any like specific religion. We're not talking about God or Jesus versus Satan or any other specific religion going on. It's just more of like a conflict between some made up angels and demons type of stuff. But it's pretty bloody game
Gory. Okay.
otherwise. Yeah, pretty gory. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I would say, it's a so okay, let's just say it's a cool black nerd recommending.
Oh
Just
yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a good game. Something I think people would enjoy. Definitely worth picking up.
17 and up.
Yeah, we could say 17 and up. Or if you're gonna be younger than that, parents, monitor your children. Do what's comfortable for you.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. I got you.
And all you, youngsters that are listening to this podcast, first of all, we cuss on here. So I don't know what you're doing. Uh, but if you're there,
Ah,
talk to your parents. Don't just,
I'll just be picking up stuff just because you heard it's cool or whatnot. There's a reason why people say all this stuff. Some stuff you just don't need to know about right now because you don't want to think about all that. It's get complex, give you migraines. Don't worry about all that. Eh,
yeah, you know what? I'll put it this way. If you pay some bills, you can get this game without asking anybody.
You know what? So I don't know then if the people in the next story qualify. So I'm just saying, like, okay, so what was it, June 30th? ESPN just dropped the hammer on a lot of people on their shows. So I think it was about what, 14 or so people who got let go.
What I've been reading, it was 20, and some of them were like pretty well known on air people. Like I think Keyshawn Johnson got let go, Jeff Van Gundy got let go, Jalen Rose got let go. Which Jalen Rose is an interesting one because I think I've been seeing some rumors that he might have found a landing spot pretty quickly at
Mm.
on Fox Sports One with Skip Bayless to
Oh,
replace Shannon Sharp.
oh, okay.
So we'll see if that happens. That'll be an interesting thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know why it's been happening, but it seems, and let me say this too, ESPN is owned by Disney, but it seems like every couple of years or so, every once in a while, kind of honestly, kind of regardless of how the economy is doing or how ESPN or even Disney, I guess, at large is doing, ESPN seems to do this.
Really?
Yeah, they do. It just seems like every few years or so they'll just do this where they lay off a bunch of the on-air people and kind of shuffle everything.
Interesting.
And right now I don't know that Disney is doing bad per se, but definitely not doing as well as it was kind of honestly at the height of the pandemic when everybody was at home streaming and Disney Plus was blowing up, ESPN was Plus was blowing up, and I think they also own Hulu, right? Like all of
Yeah,
that
they
was
yeah.
had some big money coming in. I know they've definitely been restructuring otherwise, like taking a lot of shows off of streaming, canceling things, trying to, I guess,
Well,
find that balance because they dumped a lot of money into it during the pandemic, and people are out and about again now.
are they though? I mean, we've been seeing
Well, that's
that
true. That's also true. I don't.
yeah, people are out and about, but they're not going to see the movies that they wanted them to see.
Well, yeah, that's true. I don't know that people. Yeah, people have definitely stopped going to the movies like they used to.
Depending on
Which
the movie though.
for somebody like me, that works out fine because I love going to the movie theater just because I like the experience of the big
Yeah.
screen, the sound system, having some fresh, hot movie theater popcorn. I don't put
Yeah.
butter on there no more because I found out that we don't really know what that butter is in the movie theater. Might just be
Nicole.
straight up vegetable oil on you.
Oh,
But
Nicole Kidman
but
is that's your friend then, right? You know, heartbreak is best seen in the movie theaters. I never did
well,
understand what was that
they
supposed
need
to
to take that off. We don't need to see that anymore. They need to stop having her do that intro at AMC. But that's another story.
mean. Okay. Okay. But
But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, people aren't hitting up the movies like they used to. I enjoy it, like I said, but man, a lot of movies that you would expect to be doing well are not. And I think all of that is just part of all of it is restructuring. Netflix cracking down on passwords, and then all the other services, like I said, just canceling shows. Warner Brothers buying HBO Max and then changing the name
oh my goodness.
for some reason.
According to them, they were saying because they wanted to keep HBO to have its own brand since they're now part of, Discovery, and the shows on there will also be from, like HGTV and the other brands that are under the Discovery umbrella, and they just didn't want it to just be HBO, because that can also include things that are adult only content, like, Sopranos, Game of Thrones, and things like that, whereas Discovery isn't. So they wanted
Okay.
it to just be Max. And I'm like, but that don't make no sense. You just did HBO Max. I need you to wait. I need you to wait.
I don't understand the name change. And then the little ads that I've seen, which is ridiculous. 'Cause, okay, you changed the name because you wanted you wanted to, I guess, to be its own thing or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Why would your ads then be like, "Oh, this is Max, home of HBO"?
Yeah.
Like, don't.
That's why. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
So now it's just Max with HBO instead of
Yeah.
HBO Max. Like, come on, man.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, it could have stayed HBO Max, but that's
Yep.
fine. But again, all of this I think is just reaction to. I mean, I guess the changes that we're seeing now. Like, I think a lot of things have changed, and they're going to stay different.
But the thing, and I don't know if this has to do with everybody jumping on the ship of we need to beat Netflix, and doing that in development where it was rushed, or doing that in development that was not planned thoroughly, but it does not
Yeah,
seem to have worked out like they wanted it to. The only person that has come out on top out of all of this is Sony, because Sony never tried to make their own streaming service. But every single person, I'm the last person, I'm sorry, every single company that did run out to make their own streaming service to compete with Netflix is in the red. Sony was like, nah, we'll just keep licensing. And they're in the black on everything. And again, their movie, Across the Spider-Verse, right now is about to cross $1 billion. Whereas I didn't even realize this, but there was a movie that just came out. I believe it was over the weekend, and it cost $75 million to make. The movie opened to $5 million over 5,000 screens.
wow. What movie was
I,
this?
I forgot the name. It was like the Teenage Kraken or something like that.
Oh yeah, yep,
And
yeah.
I'm like,
I did.
damn, $5 million. Then I saw there was another movie that came out this year, and I'd never even heard of this. The only way I heard of this movie is I'm not sure if you guys like watch YouTube like I do. I don't have like cable. I watch YouTube every now and then. I'll buy a show or whatever. I have Netflix and all the rest of that stuff. But there are these channels that will kind of like give you summaries of movies. They don't give you the entire thing, but they'll give you like a summary of what a movie was about. And there was a movie that came out this year called Hypnotize or Hypnotic, one or the other. And it starred Ben Affleck. And apparently he was supposed to be some like agent who had lost his memory, but he didn't know he had lost his memory. And he was trying to help this other lady who had lost her memory to find out what really happened, and to uncover this whole ruse through the government about this thing, whatever. Even that movie crossed $5 million. It made $6 million, but it's still. And that movie still made less. That movie, Hypnotic, Ben Affleck. This is an award-winning director, an award-winning screenwriter. I don't know if he won
Well,
an award for acting, I think, too.
I don't think he
But
ever should have. If he got one, I personally don't think he should have got that one. But continue. I'm just not a Ben Affleck fan. So
I know. But so that movie made less money than a horror movie about Winnie the Pooh. The Winnie the Pooh movie called Blood and Honey, because the Winnie the Pooh IP became public domain this year. So when people found that out, of course, people jumped on it, which makes, like, oh shit, free money. So
right,
everybody wanted to see what this was going to be about. So in January, when this trailer dropped, everybody's like, what the hell? Trailer dropped. It was just as bad as everybody thought it was. But the movie was made for like 300,000 or something like that. And it looked like it. They look like they shot this on a Polaroid camera. And the movie still made $7 million, still made that. And this movie with Ben Affleck only made $6 million. Are you serious? And then this teenage Kraken movie, $75 million budget, $5 million. I'm like,
Hey, yeah,
they'll go see what they want to see.
people are not going to the theater, man. They're definitely just going to see
Yeah, they'll go see what they want to see.
exactly the movie that they want to see. Man, and I have a lot. I think this could be an episode on itself. Just to even talk about like the differences that you see now between like critics being like, "Oh, this movie is garbage," and then regular people just being like, "Actually, this is like one of the best movies of the year." Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that does need to be a show in of itself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely need to be a show in
Yeah,
of
movie
itself.
theaters. I don't know. I can't explain it other than yeah, people just are not going to the movies, and when they do go, you're right. You'll go see the movie that you exactly what you want to see and nothing else. So, and maybe all of that this time has ESPN or Disney looking to make these changes on the fly, but it's definitely something I feel like they do often. And I brought up first taking Skip Bayless. Everybody should know Shannon Sharp. Kind he left that show kind of abruptly. They had some on air. I'm just gonna say from my point of view, Skip Bayless got a little disrespectful with Shannon
Mm.
Sharp, and then it wasn't necessarily like disrespectful of whatever opinion he had on topics they were discussing, but like personally disrespectful,
Oh,
kind of taking shots at his career, even to say like they were talking about Tom Brady, which I mean, if you've ever watched that show, that they if it's not LeBron James or the Dallas Cowboys, they're talking about Tom Brady. And Skip Bayless is like the Tom Brady super fan. Tom Brady can do nothing wrong. I personally felt like Shannon Sharp was a little bit more objective, specifically when talking about Tom Brady. And whatever they were talking about this time had to do with Tom Brady, got a little bit heated. And
hmm
Skip Bayless basically said to Shannon Sharp, I think you're saying whatever it is you're saying because you're jealous of Tom Brady's career. Tom Brady is 40, however, 40, 41, 42 years old, still playing, and you had to retire. And
What?
Tom Brady won however many Super Bowls, and you wish that you were still playing. And then Shannon responded, took his glasses off, and was like, "Look, I'm a three-time Super Bowl winner. I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm good. Like I'm good with my career. I'm considered one of the best tight ends ever, if not the best tight end to
Mm.
ever play football. I'm good." And Skip just got even more disrespectful and said,
Oh my.
saying stuff like your career is nothing compared to Tom Brady, that kind of deal.
Fair.
So yeah, it went way too far. Then Skip had that whole thing with Damar Hamlin when he collapsed on the field. Skip
Yeah,
had a tweet up that was it was a little disrespectful.
very much.
Shannon Sharp took the next day off because he didn't want their show to be talking about Skip's tweet and
Sweet.
trying
Yeah.
to address that when it should have been about Damar Hamlin. So he
Yeah.
took that next day off. And then when he was trying to explain himself on the show after that, Skip cut him off in the middle of him trying to explain how he felt about it. It was just so it just became like a definitely kind of a contentious situation at the end there.
Mm.
But with that change, and then also with these layoffs, for me personally, I realized like the only reason I'm gonna call it cable. I have YouTube TV, so streaming
hmm
TV. But the only reason I had it was like these sports shows and other sports in general. So
Mm.
for me, I've even canceled that now because I'm
You watch what you
and
want.
nothing's really happening in sports. The NBA finals are done. Maybe I'll get it again when it comes around to the World Series. And honestly, even then, it'll only be if the Astros are in the World Series. Football is over for now. Like there's nothing, really going on with
Mhm.
sports right now, at least for me. So I'm good on that. And I don't know when I'm going to get it back. Like I might not bring it back until NFL season starts.
Wow.
And even then, that's only to watch games. Like I may actually just look at, is it cheaper for me to just get something where I can watch NFL Red Zone on Sundays? I don't know. We'll see.
Mm. Well,
We'll
I
see. But,
mean,
but that's kind of where I'm at. I think that kind of speaks to where people might be at with going to movie theaters and even just other things now. Like I really taking a look at what do I actually use and why am I paying for this if I'm not
I think
using that.
yeah, you're right. Everybody's come to that conclusion, and I think the only person who has not realized that is Elon Musk. where he's thinking that everybody's going to pay for Twitter Blue or pay for whatever when it comes to Twitter. And now he is getting to the point where he's going to rate limit where, what you are able to see on Twitter. You can now not see any tweets without being logged in. So you have to have an account, which kind of sucks. And I say that because if, a lot of times people would post some things as far as like news and breaking information just on Twitter because it was easy and it was accessible to everyone. You didn't have to have an account. Now you have to have an account. Sucks.
It does. Yeah. I mean, I know he's got to try to make that purchase make sense. I mean, it was bad, honestly.
Yeah.
And then I think the things that he's doing are making it worse.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he certainly got his audience, right? There's people that are going to ride or die with
Oh,
it,
yeah.
but yeah, I think he's made a lot of mistakes with Twitter and is continuing to do so, all in an effort to try to figure out how to make some money out of it, I think, and not doing a very good job of it so far.
It was funny because the initial limits that he had put on there, so initially he put it out because he wanted to stop data scrapers. And those are bots and people who will go to websites and scrape the website for data and then post it somewhere else. That is a big problem for a lot of websites in general. So I get it. And a lot of companies have not been able to come up with a great solution for it without hampering the user experience.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, what he started does not work for it's social media. So you cannot, and it's one of the main social media platforms. The one that he started with, I believe it was like you could not see more than 300 tweets a day or something like that if you were unverified. You could not see more than, I'm sorry, it was 100 tweets, and then it was 300 tweets if you were verified. And what it means by verified is if you had an account and you were logged in. But if you had quote unquote subscribed to the Twitter Blue, you could see around like 1,000. And people wanted to see how easy that would be to go through. Now, this is just you scrolling. You don't have to click on the tweet. You don't have to go through it. And this also includes whether or not that tweet has replies or interaction and engagements
Oh
to
wow.
it. So even if one of those has like a shit ton to it, that also includes, you interacting with that tweet as if you had seen those thousands of tweets. And it's just like, that's going to be done in a few minutes. So one person did it and it took
Yeah,
them 2 minutes
wow.
to get through all of them. That was it. 1,000.
Right. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. See, that to me, I think that's going to make it even more difficult for him. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it obviously makes it more difficult, but even if you were trying to charge, like, let's say you wanted to charge a company, like you brought up, like how it's affecting people's customer service, because some companies, like, that's how you get in touch with
Hmm.
customer service, right? Like, or it's at least one of the avenues. Like, you got a problem, you can tweet at whoever customer
Yeah.
service and get a response. If they're only able to look at a certain amount of tweets, even if they are paying for the subscription, like I could definitely see them just being like, well, we just have to stop this. Like, it's not even
Yeah.
like we're gonna have to stop doing this because now I can't see everything that's actually happening on Twitter. So
Exactly.
it's gonna get worse if I respond to my 300 people a day and then everybody else was like, well, why you didn't respond to me? And I can't just be like, oh, I couldn't see it because I was rate limited. So that's not gonna work. Yeah. He's gonna have companies leaving Twitter now, even more now.
Now, you do have some
So
companies that have gone ahead and signed up for it. Like if you see them with that gold check, they have signed up for the Twitter Blue subscription. And that can, depending on the company, previous follower count is how much they would be paying now. If you were under a certain amount, you would be paying anywhere in the amount of like 20 to 50,000 now or something like that, which again is crazy.
okay.
But if you want to be able to continue to, as you said before, this was what you were using for customer service because it was easy, free, and this is how you communicated with people. What do you do now?
Yeah. No, I mean, again, we'll see how this goes. Again, I want to point this out though. This is one thing that I think people do need to be reminded of. Twitter, along with all of these other social media companies, are companies. Like, they are
Yeah.
free to do whatever it is they want to do. Like, this is not, the town square. Like, this is not a public thing. So he's definitely well within his rights to do that. what I think is going to happen, actually, let me say this, because this also just leads into another thing that I did want to talk about today. We had briefly talked about before we got on here that there is now legislation in Congress, and it seems to be bipartisan, to ban TikTok. And you and I, briefly kind of talked about how that might be possible. And we kind of came to the conclusion that it really isn't even about banning TikTok. It's really more about just saying to like Google, who makes and has all the Android phones, and Apple, who has iPhones, like this app has to come out of your app store now, and that
Mhm.
generally would eliminate 99.9% of people from having that app. Just
Yeah.
because, even though yes, you can sideload it, but who's gonna make that effort? Not many people.
Yeah. And to do what though? Like if you sideload it and it's like four people on there, what's the point?
Yeah, right. So if that passes, I think that will definitely kill TikTok, at least in the US. But you bringing up this thing about Twitter just made me realize something, because the way I found out about this legislation for TikTok was the article was actually talking about buying stock in Meta now. Because Meta, hasn't been doing the best because they put all of their efforts into the metaverse, which is still not what Mark Zuckerberg thought it was going to be. But bringing up, so they were saying get it because TikTok is likely going away,
Yeah.
and Meta could step in and fill that gap. Some of the stuff that's happening with Twitter, especially this rate limit, I feel like that just kind of doubles it up. Like Facebook, Instagram is about to be kind of the last one standing that doesn't have just kind of crazy stuff going on.
So yeah, it does kind of seem like that. And unfortunate, and people have been saying this for years, and I've been one of those advocates too, and nobody really wanted to hear me when I would tell them, especially for any content creators, do not put all your eggs in one basket. You would always have
Yeah.
these, especially podcasters, because they would be like, well, you only do podcasting on audio format. You don't do YouTube or anything like that. I was like, you can take an audio podcast and make it into anything you want. I said, I know I grew my audience from Instagram, but it's easy that way. I said, like, audio is king, like the video and stuff, like you can make that into anything. You can do that on YouTube. You can do that on, you can do that on Reddit. Does not matter where it could be. The problem with people would see this easy money on TikTok and be like, oh, well, you could blow
Hmm.
up. Yeah, it would just be the attention that you would get. TikTok is great for getting your name out there if you're a small business. That is true. But unless, like, what's his name? Carby Lane, who is the most followed person on TikTok. And I think he has somewhere near like 500 million users or something
Oh
like that.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible. That's the guy who don't say words, right? He just
Yeah.
makes faces.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's something like that. And everywhere else, Facebook doesn't do it anymore and Instagram doesn't do it anymore, but everywhere else has a creator fund. But in that creator fund for TikTok, like they only pay you for the views, and I think it's like 10 cents a view. This
Wow.
man would have, like I said, 500 million users. Even if it's only 500 million, 10 cents, that's it. That is it. You go to YouTube, same thing, 500 million views. Just like Mr. Beast views. Come on, man. But a lot of these kids would be like, well, no, TikTok is easier. It's this and this and that. And I would try my best to explain what you will get from TikTok is attention. Yes. You won't get any actionable things from that. Like you won't get the sponsors and things that you want from there. You're not going to make any money, honestly.
Gotcha.
Like you'll get the attention, you'll get the people, and it's nice. But if you got nothing to build off of, you got to move that to YouTube or somewhere else, and you have to have more than one platform to stand off of. You have to have a base. But if it's only on TikTok and you can't really do anything other than the TikTok stuff, yeah, you're not gonna make it. And it was very, very hard to tell that to people, and they understand what I was saying without them saying, "Oh, well, you're just hating because your shit is old or whatever." Like, okay, whatever.
Hey, yeah, I get it. I understand that, and I never really thought about TikTok that way, to be honest. I mean, I personally don't use TikTok. I don't have the app at all, but people definitely send me links from TikTok all the time.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, this is with all of this stuff going on with other social media companies. Meta has a chance to do something. We'll see if they take advantage of it. And Instagram has been looking more and more like TikTok for a while now, so it might be able to fill in that spot.
I mean, it's easier for a lot of people to do something, and it's what a lot of people know. TikTok, unfortunately, has that, it's been tarnished. So, yeah. And YouTube is it's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, I was just gonna say YouTube seemed like it's been that but from what I've been seeing from content creators recently, YouTube really just seems like it's the old standby.
Yeah.
Like that people are starting to have problems with Twitch and whatever other is going on.
Hmm.
And YouTube just seem to keep on trucking.
Yeah. YouTube will always be there. It just has to, you have to abide by their rules. And it's always funny to me when people are saying, well, I work for myself. No, you work for Google. And
Okay.
if Google don't like that, you have to change it. So stop thinking like, oh, well, I work for myself, because you do not.
Gotcha.
And I think
I
that's where
feel
a
like that
lot
kind
of,
of goes back to what I was saying generally. Like you got to remember, all these companies are not they're
yes,
companies. Like they're not
yeah,
here necessarily for you. They are making money off of you. Like
yeah, pretty much. You can post whatever you want on your website. Like when you come to those websites and things, and even that is to a certain extent, because the
your
hoster,
website hosting company.
your website hosting company will, I mean, if you get to a certain point and you're doing something, they'll be like, they will shut you down as well. There's very much an extent to all of the stuff that you can do. But
Gotcha.
when it comes to people who are paying you for this stuff, like I said, YouTube is under the Google umbrella, and most of the stuff is paid for by ads. With that, there are certain standards that come with those ads. It's just the way it is. Some of it will be, they'll be like, it'll be limited. You can still put the video out, you just won't get paid for it.
Yeah.
And I get where it's crazy. And I liken it back to us in, the business world for our 9 to 5 jobs, where sometimes there are decisions that are made and we're like, the hell is that, makes no sense, because it's made from a decision from a person that's at 1,000 foot level. They're not at the
Yeah.
ground floor, and it does not make any sense. It will backfire on them, but they don't have all the information. People like, I wouldn't say people like us, but people who are more on the end can make it work. So when you hear these people who are yelling about, oh, well, that's a stupid reason. I hate that they're having these ads and stuff like this. Now, if you have a few people that will make it work, it can work. And that's all that matters. Yeah, you'll have a few that bucket the trend, but if there's enough to show that it does work, that's all they need. It really, business is business.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it comes down to.
If you work for somebody else, that's just kind of how it is. And even if you do work for somebody, even if you work for yourself and you get money from somebody else, there's still standards that you have to abide by. That does not go away. And I think
Right.
because there's this misconception that people have, or let me say younger people have, that when you are working for yourself, or that no one is there over your shoulder every 5 seconds, that you can do whatever you want and that you should have no consequences, because I've done everything that I should, or I've done everything that I think I should, and now I should get what I deserve. That's not how it goes. It's never how it's went. Never. If you've never had a job before, I think it's a rude awakening for a lot of them. And I think that's what's happening, especially like you said with this Twitch stuff. It's hilarious seeing some of them just be like, well, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a. I think yeah maybe it's them realizing that hey, even though technically I work for myself, I'm actually relying on this giant corporation that's going to make giant corporation decisions.
Yeah. And they're like, well, they need to be more, they communicate more. And they don't have to be. Yeah, they should. They don't have to, though. And I don't know how many times I've seen decisions that just come down that just make this absolutely no sense. And they will look at you and just be like, do it. Don't want to hear nothing about it. Kind of like, with your mom.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't want to hear no lip. Just get it done. It's strange though to see it, I guess, play out for other people.
Yeah. I got you. You know who? Well, who it might be playing out for now? Well, maybe not in the same way, but Microsoft, they're struggling with this Activision acquisition.
Oh, they did. Oh, it's definitely planned. Oh, Lord. I have never seen a merger get, I mean, just backhand, just every 5 seconds. Oh, yeah, we going through. Nope. It's about to, nope. Every single governing body has said no at some point to this merger. I've never seen this. It's all reliant on Call of Duty becoming exclusive and cloud gaming. And I know that a lot of people are saying that cloud gaming is so far away. And I'm like, I I would not hedge that bet
Well, you know what?
because
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's not.
yeah,
Like we kind of have it now. Like I know, yes, with these games, like I'm gonna go ahead and say it, with these live service games, yeah, you download the game to your computer, but with them always being on the internet already,
mhm,
like now,
mhm.
it's not that far away from just, you know what?
It's not. It's really not. And plus, it's Microsoft. Who knows what they've been doing for the longest? They have
Yeah.
like they have a bunch of cloud servers out there for just people running their business from the cloud already. They know this. It would not take very much to be able to do the same thing for game development. Plus, they are leaders in the game development to begin with. Activision is,
Yeah.
and Microsoft was in the forefront of it in the beginning with Xbox. So it's like, no, it's not that far fetched. It's like, come on. Like, I understand Stadia wasn't what most people wanted, but the technology is still there. You don't have to
And
do very much to
I
be
was
able.
just about to
Yeah,
bring up Stadia. I was gonna say, I know, kind of generally people would say that it failed or whatever, but it kind of didn't. Like it definitely
yeah,
proved that it can work
yeah.
and
Just need
work
a
pretty
little
damn well.
polish. Yeah, need a little bit more polish and a company that would be more willing to put the resources and effort into actually not shutting it down within 2 years.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, it is there. So I don't know why people keep downplaying the cloud gaming thing. I believe it was the CEO. Believe it was the CEO. I may be wrong, but it was higher up. Let me say that a higher up in Microsoft kept giving quotes saying it wouldn't make financial sense to make games exclusive to Xbox. And I'm like, if you want to sell the hardware, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
mean, you say that. Yeah, it's not even that. It is that, and then honestly, they're doing it now, right? What is it called? What is it? Game Pass.
yes,
If I want to sell a subscription, which is seems to be what everybody wants to do now, it's way easier to sell that subscription if I have exclusive games.
yeah,
Like the only way
yeah,
you're going to be able to play Call of Duty is if you have Games Pass on an Xbox.
exactly. Because unfortunately, like the last gaming generation, we have the PlayStation 5 and the X. Unfortunately, they fuck themselves with this. You have the PlayStation 5. That makes sense. The fifth generation PlayStation, right? You have the Xbox One X, S, L, W, Q, whatever. And it's just like, what was the last generation's Xbox? Xbox One S. What?
Is that
Why
the
would you do that? Why would you do
it
that?
was that the last generation? Isn't it the Xbox One now?
Exactly. That's the problem. They screwed themselves doing that.
I'm
Yeah,
confused. That's for sure. I don't.
exactly. So a lot of people are confused. There's a bunch of people who have actually bought the other generation thinking they got this generation and they return it back after they figure out, oh, well, this isn't the one that I really wanted. So right now, well, that the confusing launch. Okay, that's one. The other one is they don't have a lot of exclusive games, and the exclusive games that they do have come out and been trash. So for them to be like, oh, well, it doesn't make financial sense for it to be exclusive to Xbox. And I'm like, I don't know. But if you do it like where, oh, it's exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem, where you also have the cloud gaming, oh, yeah, it makes a lot more sense then. So, yeah, everybody's sitting there saying, oh, no, cloud gaming is not a factor. Yeah, don't know about that.
I personally think it is the factor for them
Yeah.
doing so. I mean, and, I'll say this, even though I think Sony has done a good job of protecting themselves from this actually happening. You know, they're also a company that is likely trying to figure out a way to do the same thing. So
Yes, 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 they are. They are. I think they're just right now more insulated on the development of it. Like you said, they've been able to hide it a little bit better. And unfortunately, well, to their fortune, but Microsoft's unfortunate. Microsoft has been everybody's punching bag with this. I have never, ever, ever seen a merger. Every single time they take one step forward or they pick up their foot at all, they're like, no, no. Like everybody is like, no.
and you know what else I've seen? Like now that as these like lawsuits are going on and some of these details are coming out, even the companies that Microsoft has purchased prior to this deal are kind of being like,
Yeah.
oh, so this is the offer they made for Activision? Like, why couldn't we
Mm-hmm.
do that when we got
Mm-hmm.
acquired? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? So
Yeah.
it's not looking too good. Oh, one thing I
Okay.
did see that I was actually kind of surprised that they did. Sony basically admitted, like, without Call of Duty, like, there's not going to be a PlayStation.
What?
Pretty much, yeah. Like in one of the filings, it like the amount, it was like something like 90% of people who own a PlayStation 5 play Call of Duty. And then it was
Wow.
like 80% of those people have played it at least 100 hours.
Wow.
So it was a crazy thing to be like, I knew Call of Duty was popular. Everybody knows it's popular, but
Yeah.
then wow.
Yeah. No, there's no way they can sit there and be like, it's not a factor. We're not going to make it exclusive. Yeah.
And then I know that they were saying and as they've been saying, we're not going to make it exclusive. They were like, we're going to honor the contracts that we have. I think Call of Duty is only like 2 more years with Sony.
Mm.
So it's not like it was coming when that contract was up. Why, if this goes through and that contract, when that contract is up, watch Call of Duty be 1000% exclusive. And by 1000%, I mean like might not even be available on PC.
You probably right. I didn't realize, like, I know computer gaming is a big area, but it's nowhere near like where it is for
Yeah, consoles are.
console gaming. Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
Well,
Like, that's insane. Absolutely
I
crazy.
think this might be
Man.
a good place to end it.
Yeah, man. I mean, this was good. We got some good stuff. And we got so much more coming.
If you mentioned the Krypton episode is coming up soon.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that one. I think that we are going to take an opportunity to really look at what's going on with the DC Comics, cinematic universe. What they call it? DC Universe? Is that what it is?
Well, they're going to retire that moniker and they're supposed
Oh,
to be
they
coming up
are.
with a
Okay.
different one. Yeah. They're going to retire that moniker
Gotcha.
and come up
So
with a different
yeah,
one.
I think we'll take that opportunity to really kind of look at it. Talk about these new Superman movies that are coming out, in honor of Krypton, I suppose, and really see what James Gunn is going to do. And I know there's another guy. I'm sorry, other guy. I don't remember your name.
I don't either.
That's also the head of DC Universe, but we'll know it for Krypton, and that's when we'll
We
let y'all
will.
know what his
Yep.
name is. Let's go ahead and call this one an episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to the Cool Black Nerd Podcast. Again, check us out on social media. Always go check out saywhatradio.com. There are several podcasts in our network that I think everybody would enjoy and love and just have a great time listening to.
Always. We out.